Good morning, students. Today, for 7th standard, we are going to see the grammar portion in term 2. Your grammar portion is degrees of comparison. Okay, degree of comparison. So, this particular topic, grammar part, is very important to tell the sentences correctly and what was the task actually. Okay, that is, if you want to speak out the sentences exactly, we have to use the comparatives, that is degree of comparison. So without the comparison we cannot fulfill the sentence completely. Okay, now let's move on to the topic. So your degree of comparison means you're comparing to. That is, you're going to measure the things that you are discussing. So the definition will be examining things in order to see in what ways they are similar. Okay, you are experimenting or testing or examining a few things that are related with each other, and we are finding out the similarity between the items. That particular concept is called as degree of comparison. So in your degree of comparison, there are three different forms. That is, the first one is the positive, the second one is the comparative, and the third one is the superlative. Okay, these are the three different types of comparison. That is, the first one is the positive, the second one is the comparative, and the third one is the superlative. So the first one, positive. Positive means it is used to describe one item, one group, or one person. So this particular sentence, which is said to be as positive, is used to describe one item, one group, and one person. Likewise, the second type is the comparative. So the comparative is used to describe two items, two people, or two groups. So usually the comparative means to compare two items. So it will describe two items, two people, or two groups. And finally, the superlative, it means this is the highest, that is, no other things will be greater than this particular sentence. That is, this will be the most or the fullest satisfied sentence when compared with the positive and the comparative. Because in your positive, that will be simple sentence. In comparative, we will compare two items, but only in the superlative we will tell the words, or we will express the sentence in a fullest manner. That is, it cannot be compared with any other items. So that particular sentences are called as your superlative sentences. So this is your introduction of degrees of comparison. So here, to understand your degree of comparison, and whenever you use your degree of comparison along with the sentence, it is necessary to know what is your adjective and what is your adverb. So we all know adjective means it is a word which will name an attribute of a noun. Okay, that is, a name or a word which qualify a noun is called as your adjective. For example, if we have a noun pongal, okay, so shall we consider a small example? So pongal is the traditional food. So when I express this particular sentence as sweet pongal is a traditional food. So whenever I add a word, that is, I'm qualifying a word for a noun, then that particular word is called as your adjective. So here, sweet refers to adjective because it qualifies the noun pongal. Likewise, we have to understand what is your adverb. Adverb is nothing but it is a word that will qualify a verb. So whenever a word qualifies a verb, okay, we call it as adverb. So verb means it is an action. So whenever you qualify a word to express your actions, then we call it as adverb. For example, Ravi was driving the car slowly. Okay, the students were sitting quietly. In these sentences, we found out that Ravi was driving the car slowly. The slowly is a word which qualifies the verb. Okay, that is, driving means the action that was involved in the sentence. So, how he was driving? He was driving very slow, or he was driving very fast. So these are the words that we call it as adverbs. Likewise, in the another example, the students were sitting very silently. So here sitting will be the action, that is the verb, but they are sitting very silently. So silently means it is qualifying the verb, so that we call it as adverb. Okay, so by using these adjectives and adverbs, we will be able to form the degree of comparison. So without understanding what is your adjective and adverb, we cannot understand or we cannot form the sentences for degree of comparison. So now we will see a small example of comparing your degrees of comparisons. So we have few examples. That examples will tell you how to compare the words. So for example, fast is the positive, faster will be comparative, and superlative will be the fastest. Okay, always we should add er to the comparative, and for the superlative you have to add est, but in the positive you will have only that word fast. Likewise, we will see the second example, fat, fatter, fattest. Okay, that is, fat will be positive. Fatter, when the word ends with er, it is comparative, and fattest means when the word is completed with est, it is said to be as superlative. We will see third example, late, later, latest. Okay, so late is the positive, later is the comparative, and the latest will be the superlative. Poor, poorer, poorest. Okay, poor means positive, poorer means comparative, and the poorest means superlative. Likewise, quiet, quieter, quietest. Here quiet is positive, quieter is comparative, and quietest will be your superlative. So these are the few examples where we express the degrees of comparison. Likewise, we have to understand how the degrees of comparison will change along with your adjectives and adverbs. Okay, let's see a few examples how these adverbs and adjectives are changed accordingly to the degree of comparisons. For example, when you consider adjective, in your positive degree, if I say angry, in your adverbs it will be angrily. Okay, and in your positive degree, when it is calm, in your adverb it is calmly. Likewise, wonderful means wonderfully. So we have to change the sentence, change the words according to the adverbs and according to the adjectives. We have to change the words in your degrees of comparison. Likewise, when it comes to the comparative degree, when you take the example word angrier in adjective, angrier will be in adjective. In adverbs, it is more angrily. When you take calmer, in adverbs it is more calmly. When you take your adjective as more wonderful, you have to use more wonderfully in adverb. Okay. Likewise, these are the few words where we have a change like this you have to use in your sentence. Likewise, in your superlative degree, as I told you, always the word will end with est, but when you use your adverbs, it will slight change. For example, angriest will be in adjective, and in adverbs, it will be most angrily. And when it comes with the calmest in adjective, it will be most calmly in adverb. And when it comes most wonderful in adjectives, it will be most wonderfully in adverbs. So these are the few words where you have to concentrate according to the adjectives and adverbs that are used in your degrees of comparison sentence. Now we will discuss a few examples to know what are the degree of comparison. So I will discuss the first example. Um, for example, Ford car is faster than the Honda City. Okay, Ford car is faster than the Honda City. Okay, these are the comparison between the two cars. So here I'm using the example faster. So this particular sentence is called as your comparative sentence. So I will give you another example where we can understand the comparative sentence. Petrol is more expensive than diesel. Petrol is more expensive than diesel. Here the word expensive will not be changed as expensive or expensiest. It is a wrong pronunciation. Okay. Instead, we have to use a word more, most. More will come for comparative and most will come for superlative. So, petrol is more expensive than diesel, which means petrol will be always expensive, which is costly than the diesel. So always whenever you are using a comparative sentence, we have to use the word than. Okay, than will denote that it is a comparative sentence. And finally, when you tell about the car goes very slowly, which means slowly means it is an adverb because the action has been expressed. So at that time you have to use slowly. Okay, slowly will tell you that the sentence is adverb. Now we will see the next example which dictates you the positive, comparative and superlative. Today was hot. Yesterday was hotter. This is the hottest summer. So the first sentence, today was hot. It is positive sentence. Yesterday was hotter. It is a comparative sentence. And this is the hottest summer, which means it is a superlative. Because hot will be positive. Because ER or EST is not added. When you take the second example, yesterday was hotter. So yesterday was hotter means you have added hotter to the word hot, you have added er, which means it is a comparator. And the last sentence, this is the hottest summer. So hottest means est. So along with the word you have added est, which means it is a superlative sentence. Now let's see another example. Aisha got a large slice of pizza on Tuesday. Okay, on Tuesday, Aisha, she got a large slice of pizza. Now we consider the second example. Nikita got a larger slice today. So she is getting larger size, which means that she has been compared with Aisha. Okay, Nikita has been compared with Aisha. So that is what I have used the pizza slice larger. Okay, so pizza slice means it is a noun, okay? So it is larger. So I am giving an adjective here. So I am using the word larger. Larger means it has been compared. So it is a comparative sentence. And finally, Kanishk got the largest slice, which means that is nothing more is superlative. So always your superlative will be the topmost sentence, which is we cannot compare the superlative sentence with any other sentences. So that is the final most sentences. So nothing will be compared with the. So what I am telling, Kanishk got the largest slice. So largest means it will be ended with est. So this particular sentence is called as your superlative sentence. Now I will tell you another example. Mandla is tall. Tall means it is positive sentence. Thomas is taller. It means the Thomas has been compared with Mandala and he is taller than Mandla. So I am adding er at the end. And finally Shruti is tallest. So which means she is the only girl who is tallest among the three. That is what I have used the word as tallest, which will have est at the end. Here one more example which depicts your degrees of comparison sentences. Surya is good at history. So Surya likes history much, so he is good at history. But whenever you use good, we should not use good, gooder, goodest. It is a wrong word that we are using in between. So whenever you tell a word good, it should be better in comparative and best in the superlative. So your sentence will be Surya is good at history. Now, in comparative sentence, Raghu is better at history than Surya. So, I am comparing Raghu's history knowledge with Surya's history knowledge. It is better. So, whenever I tell the word good, in your comparative, it should be better. And finally, I'm telling Prem is the best in the class at history. So this is the only person where that particular person is the best in the class at history. So in the history, nobody can learn like Prem. So that is what I have used the word best. So whenever you use the word good, you have to use, if the word good is used in positive, you have to use the word better in comparative, and you have to use the word best in the superlative. Okay, likewise we have a few examples where we cannot add est. For example, I'm telling a word beautiful, so it is in positive, it is beautiful, but in comparative and in superlative we cannot write it as beautifulier and beautifuliest. It is a wrong thing that we are using. Instead we can use beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. Okay, this is how we use the proper usage of degree of comparison. So whenever you use the words quick under the adjective, you can use quick, quicker, quickest. But whenever you use the word quick in adverb, then it should be quickly, more quickly, most quickly. Okay, whenever a word that has been added with the verb, that we call it as adverb, the adverb should be used in the degrees of comparison in a manner. In a positive sentence it is quickly, in a comparative sentence it is more quickly, and in the superlative sentence it is most quickly. And finally, we have to know where we are not using the words which are not used as your degrees of comparison. So, for example, we have square, unique, and then eternal, ideal, full, empty. So whenever you use these words under adjectives, it cannot be used in your degrees of comparison, and we cannot add any er and est. Okay, so that you have to remember these words where the degrees of comparisons cannot be done in these words. And I will give you a homework or the task where you have to form the sentence for the given words. Okay, so the task will be the first word pretty, the second word knowledgeable, the third word dead, and the fourth word slow, and the fifth word is tasty. So using these words, you have to form the sentences expressing your positive, comparative, and superlative. So always your positive will be the normal simple sentence. Your comparative sentence will be comparing two items. So at that time you will add er to the verb that has been used as and finally your superlative means it will be you will add the word est at the end of your verb. Okay, like this you have to separate your adjective and adverbs whenever you go for the degrees of comparison. Hope you all understood the class today. Okay, learn well, and few examples will be also given in your given as homework whenever the classes are there. Okay, thank you students. Have a nice day.